Hi, Climax Shelley, Mr. Christensen here. We are very fortunate today. We have Deputy Cox here at the school, and some of you have asked some amazing questions about what it's like being a officer in Polk County and what he does for his line of work. And so we're going to be asking some of those questions today, and Deputy Cox, thank you so much for being here. Why don't you start off with telling us a little bit about yourself?
So my name is Deputy Cox. I work for the Polk County Sheriff's Office. I am based out of Crookston, so just north of here. I think last time I talked to some of the students, they were from Crookston, so they kind of know where that's at. I kind of patrol the west side of Polk County. Polk County is very large. We're about 70 miles east to west and about 50 miles north to south, so I've got this area over here. Some of you have probably seen me in the schools before the COVID hit and everything like that. But yeah, I guess I've been with the Sheriff's Office for coming up on 5 years now in February. I actually know Mr. Christensen from back home, from where I'm originally from. Mr. C actually was my youth director back in the day, so that's kind of how I know him. But we both ended up here, and I've been up in this area for about the last 8-9 years. Like I said, working for the last 5. I guess some of the things I like to do off duty, I'm a big snowmobiler and a big hunter. Those are just a couple things I like to do. Summertime, I work for some farmers around here, keep myself busy, and keep myself occupied. So.
What is the difference between a deputy and a cop?
So, difference between being a deputy and, say, a police officer or a state trooper or state patrol or even a DNR or a corrections officer, we all do fairly similar job. It'd be kind of saying the difference between a math teacher and a science teacher and a reading teacher. They're all teachers, but they just do a little bit different job at the end of the day. So we all it's different areas that we patrol and different tasks that we do. The state troopers, they primarily focus on highways and some of the main roads and pulling people over for some of those traffic violations, the speeding, the seat belts, being on your phone, stuff like that. The deputies, the sheriff's office, stuff like that, we have just a bigger area that we cover. There's some minor details that we do. We do a lot of the prison transport. So when someone does go from, say, here to a big boy jail, we will take them there. And then your local, like Crookston Police Department, East Grand Police, they just have a little bit smaller area and they focus in on the town itself.
What advice would you give to a new police person?
So how I started off in law enforcement, when I graduated from high school, I went to college, and I went to University of Minnesota Crookston up in Crookston, and I went to school for a couple different things, but eventually ended up graduating with criminal justice law enforcement as a degree. And part of the requirements for law enforcement in Minnesota is you have to have a 2-year degree in a second level education. So either whether it be a technical school or a 4-year school, you have to have some sort of degree after you graduate high school. And then you have to go to law enforcement skills academy, basically. And some departments in the state will send that to you, and it'll be part of their hiring process. Others, you have to do it before you get hired. So I had to go down to Alexandria Technical School. I was there for 10 weeks as part of my 4-year degree. And Alexandria has a 2-year program for law enforcement that is also, it's just kind of a different way of getting into it. But you have to go to school for at least 2 years. And then once you do that, you apply for a job wherever there might be one or one's open. You have to go through the hiring process there, and sometimes that can be a little challenging. There's the questionnaire part of an interview, the physical aspect of it. They make sure that you don't got anything in your background or anything that you've done in your past that's going to be a hiccup for the job. There's some special requirements you have to do. And then once you get hired on, it's just getting experience and kind of going down the road. So,
is it hard to do your job?
Just like any job, some days have more difficult than others. It just, again, depends on what's happening that day. There's some days where I go home and I'm happy. There's other days where I might have had a bad call, had to deal with someone that was being really nasty to me, might have been mean to me. And some days are just better than others, but at the end of the day, my job is very rewarding. I wouldn't say it's hard. It's challenging some days. but that's what makes it so much fun. Is you never know never know what you're gonna get when you go to work. So.
Abby L is wondering if you have ever gotten into a fight while on duty, and have you ever gotten hurt?
Unfortunately, yes, I have gotten into a few scuffles with some people, and the biggest thing I can say to everyone watching is law enforcement don't like to pick fights with people. Unfortunately, there's some people out there that don't like us. Sometimes they might be not in the right sense of mind, whether that be because they were doing something or drank or ate something they shouldn't have, that's made their perception of what's going on different. Unfortunately, we have to be the ones that come try to deal with them or try to talk to them and what's going on. But yes, I have been in multiple fights. I have been punched. I've been in a wrestling match with people. I've had to tase people. That's just part of my job. But again, the reason that happens is I want to make sure that everyone, again, watching is we do it so you guys stay safe, because if they're doing it to us, that means they'll more likely could do it to you too. So we're the ones that will be the divider between what we always call maybe good and bad, or bad decisions and good decisions. We're kind of the ones that stand in between.
Have you dealt with medical issues?
Yep. So that's actually one of the parts of our job that is it's very unique too, because we respond to everything. So that'd be a medical call. Say someone might be having a heart attack or trouble breathing. To someone got in a car accident, or someone, maybe you got hit by a car on your bike. We will come and we will try to help. Most of the law enforcement around this area are our first responders, and we are trained in basic medical procedures to at least get you guys okay until maybe an ambulance can transport you to a hospital if that's something that needs to be done. So.
This question is from Dustin. What dog requirements are there for a police dog? And do the Polk County Sheriff's Office use dogs?
So Polk County actually does have a police canine. We just got it this last year, back in April or May is when they started working road shifts or working a normal schedule. Her name is Buffy. I believe she is 2 years old. My partner, Deputy Olson, is actually the canine handler. He is working today. He's just on the other side of the county. But yes, she is a 2-year-old, I believe. German Shepherd mix Malinus, I think is how you say it. But to become a canine, Deputy Olson did have to go through, I believe it was a 16 to 20 week academy just to train basically him as a human and a trainer, and the dog too. So it was a very extensive training that he had to go through to do that. And it's a very technical job. There's definitely some things that I've had to kind of work on as a partner. I cannot say go get him on accident, because I've almost done that. My partner almost got bit one time. So there are some things with the canine that you do need to be careful about. If you guys happen to see Deputy Olson out and about with canine Buffy, just be sure to stay kind of back. She is a nice dog, but again, she is a police canine. She does all sorts of things, from searching for someone that may be lost in the woods to searching someone that might have ran away from us for whatever reason. And if she does find that bad person that might be trying to run away from us, she is capable of biting them to try to take them down before we can get there. And we've actually used Buffy. We found an open window on the school one time here in Climax. We actually sent Buffy in to search the school for us. So she's a very useful tool for us to be able to utilize and use. So.
Have you ever had to pick someone up from school before?
So every once in a while, yes, kids do misbehave in school, and sometimes they do need to get taken to the juvenile center. And that's something I don't enjoy doing. For anyone that's watching this, that's probably the least favorite thing I have to do, is to bring you guys on a Friday afternoon to the juvenile center, and you guys lose your weekend, and you don't get to do anything normal. And that's not. I want everyone to listen to that. We're not out there trying to be the bad guys, but there are rules that do need to be followed, and unfortunately, we have to kind of enforce the rules, and we're kind of like the teachers of the world. If a teacher tells you to do something, you got to listen. And then same thing for us. If we tell you to do something, we want you guys to listen. But we also want you guys to feel comfortable coming up to us. I know it can be intimidating seeing a police officer and all this stuff, and sometimes we might be angry, or it might seem like we have an angry face on, but I can guarantee that we are mad or angry at anyone. Sometimes it's just, again, the day that we might be having, we might have just dealt with a really mean person. So maybe sometimes you guys come up and say hi to us, that'll change how we're feeling. That might make our day. So We want you guys to trust us and to be able to come up and approach us, though. We'll never say get away from us or anything like that. But just make sure that it's safe, though. If you guys see us busy on something, wait till we're done dealing with whatever we need to do there, and then we'll come talk to you, all right? So.
Great questions, kids. Now we're going to go outside and take a look at Deputy Cox's squad car. There's a lot of interesting things to take a look at.
This is my squad car, so it is a 2018 Chevy Tahoe, and I'm on the list to get a new one next year, so I'll have a nice 2021 Tahoe next year to drive around in. But as you can see, I got my lights on right now, so obviously if you guys talk to your parents, if you see flashing red and blue lights behind you, just make sure you can pull over, because when we have our lights on, it means we're just trying to get somewhere quick and make sure we're getting there in a timely manner. So, and we usually have our siren going right here. And if we don't have our siren on, sometimes that means we're just trying to be sneaky, getting to where we want. We don't want the bad guys to know that we're coming. But so those are kind of the lights. We can do a walk around of them here in a little bit, but obviously I got them all around. There's some on the back, some on the front. And you guys can see here, I got this big old piece of metal on the front. So this is my push bumper. And you can see this bottom part here is it's a lot bigger and a lot thicker. So this is for if I'm chasing a bad guy, I can use this and I can try to maneuver his car to try to get him to stop. And I've definitely had about 4 or 5 of these on this squad car. I've definitely used them. They're worth their weight in gold. So they protect not only from damaging the car more, but they protect the internals, the motor, stuff like that, so I can keep going if something bad happens. So that's kind of my car right there. I got my spotlight right here. So if I'm trying to light up the school or something behind you here in the video, I can shine it and it'll light up the whole area. So, all right, guys. So this is the inside of my car, and as some of you probably heard earlier, this is my office. This is where I spend most of my day. I can spend sometimes 8 to 10 hours in my car. I got kind of all sorts of stuff up here. So I'll try to get the camera here so you guys can see, but obviously you got my computer right there. That's where I can see if I get a call, they'll put it on the computer and it'll pop up. You can kind of see there's a few calls along the county and everything like that. And as you can see, this area right here, that's kind of where my finger just filled in, that's all of Polk County, and I get this whole area on the west side. So you guys can see how big we are. Just that area that we have to patrol. But so like I said, the inside of my spotlight, I can move it around like this. I have my radar right up here, so that's where I can see how fast people are going. And then you kind of go down below here, it's got my radio. That's how I talk to everyone. I'm gonna move that real quick. This is my basically my control box for all my lights, my siren. I have a PA system that I can use that's right over there. And then this is the radio. This again, it's kind of like my portable radio. I can change all my channels to who I need to talk to and everything like that. If you look across the seat, I just have some miscellaneous stuff. I got my 2 firearms in here just in case I need some little bit more firepower going into a call, or if there's a really bad guy, I need to use one of them. But and then on the seat over here, I just have a bunch of paperwork, kind of my miscellaneous forms, some extra gear just in case I need anything like that. So all right, and this is the back seat. So sometimes being in the back seat of a cop car isn't the worst thing, but this is where we put people that are misbehaving. As you can see, we got some bars on the window. Every once in a while, we'll get people that try to kick out our windows, so this kind of prevents them from being able to get out if they're really trying. Same thing, we got a divider between us and them on both sides. I won't lie, they are not built for comfort, so hopefully you guys aren't in here too long. And if I need to give you a ride, though, I will put you in the back, but like I said, it's not the worst thing in the world. So all right, and this is the trunk, obviously. So I got some extra gear back here, just I can kind of go through it real quick. But I have these are my spike strips that I can take out and throw on the road if I need to, if there's a bad guy trying to run away from us. Obviously, I got my fire extinguisher. Put out a few fires with these. You want to make sure that they're securely in there, otherwise they'll flop around and sometimes they'll go off, and that's not very fun. So then I got my my helmet and some of my other stuff just in case I got to go into a bad situation. My gas mask, if I got to throw that on, is right there. I got some other things, my shovel just in case I get stuck in the snow. This is my medical bags. So like I said, we talked about me going to medical calls where I can I got stuff in there I can treat you. And this is just kind of my evidence container, or my scene processing. So I got evidence bags, fingerprint kit, stuff like that. So if I got to do some NCIC investigation, I can kind of whip that out and kind of go from there. So.
All right, well, thank you very much, Deputy Cox, for talking to us a little bit more about your job. And when we see you around school in the future, we'll make sure that we say hi.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. So stay safe and listen to your teachers, all right? Even if you're not seeing them in person.